Awful.
You know, what was it, 2 weeks ago that it jumped over by Tiffany's and killed a man who's always, no, not killed him, injured the man who's always...
That women traditionally have held, that we're able to really marshal forces on a set and get a great deal of cooperation.
The 80s, I mean, nobody even talked about it. It was like everything was fine. If we shut up, it'll all go away.
Nice to be able to provide a forum, isn't it?
Yeah. Nice to put it on the front burner again. Back after station break.
One last look at the nation's weather for us.
Well, last one for today. Let's hope it's not the last.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Joan Lunden.
And I'm Charles Gibson, and we are reaching the end of this week. It's Friday, June 5th. Good to have you with us. And we're going to be talking about a major concert next week at Carnegie Hall.
Yes, next week in New York, there's going to be a tribute. The tribute. So what kind of challenge does Spencer face in this novel?
Well, he is out of his element, Spencer.
Not bad at all. Thanks a lot. And Spencer, I hope your math is good.
No, map's pretty bad in some places, actually. We've got some good weather on the map, but some really stormy weather as well, so we have to tell you about it.
It's that time of year, though.
Just don't blame the messenger, okay?
Speaking of presidents, it is President George Bush's birthday today, 68 years old. We say happy birthday to him.
Gets to spend it in Rio. That isn't...
That's not bad, I guess.
To spend your birthday.
And meteorologist Bill Gooch, chairman of the American Museum Hayden Planetarium here in New York, is spending his day with us because Spencer's off.
It's always a nice place to be. Thank you. We've got some pretty good weather again in the north. We finally lucked out, and finally a good weekend for us in the north.
All right.
We have had it
Good to have you back. It's
Thank you.
I know he came in because we're having a
lunar eclipse this Sunday. Yeah, Sunday night.
Also this morning, we're going to have a portrait of an American family. You might...
With Joan and Bill.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. Meteorologist Bill Gooch, chairman of the American Museum Hayden Planetarium here in New York, filling in today for Spencer Christian. I said, what are you going to start with? He said, snow. I said, you got to be kidding me.
The calendar says almost summer, but you wouldn't know it in the Pacific Northwest, up in the Cascades. Little northern exposure.
Called the relaxation response. Now, how does that work?
Well, the best way to understand the relaxation...
A little bit of this relaxation technique works wonders. And Dr. Benson, thank you very much. The name of the book again is The
Wellness Book.
Covered from the old Soviet Union, shared with us with the cooperation of the Library of Congress. Also, singer, actor, songwriter Mac Davis. He's now starring on Broadway in the Will Rogers Follies.
We should also remind you that on Monday we begin a week-long series on parenting. Each day the renowned pediatrician T. Barry Brazelton will be with us. Questions like, can you spoil a baby? How do you teach right from wrong? Very interesting half hour, 8:30 half hour each day next week. We'll see you Monday. Take care.
Good weekend in person, so let's hear what he thinks. Hi, Joel.
Good morning, Joan. I think Alec Baldwin was terrific in Hunt for Red October. I think Mouse never scared anybody.
All right, I'll leave that one alone. Thanks, Joel.
Do I get to sing next time?
Yes. It's nice to have you both with us. Dr. Pollack, I'm going to start with you. The FDA has turned down using this several times. They say there's not enough evidence in. This new study that I read is from the World Health Organization. Now, what did the study find as far as incidence of breast cancer? You don't get the surge,
yes.
Right?
Well, there is one study that looks carefully at this question, but there are problems with this study.
The thinning of the bone?
Well, there is one study that looks carefully at this question, but there are problems with this study
that are available. And in fact, am I correct, it's kind of like Norplant? But would the effects of it be different from Norplant? Because Norplant's been approved, right?
Norplant's been approved and is considered safe.
And Hackney of KGO TV in San Francisco is filling in for Spencer Christian today for the National Weather Forecast. And we welcome you, Brian.
And thank you for having me, believe me. And I expected the heat, the humidity. It's cold, it's windy, it's just like San Francisco.
It goes back and forth here.
Let's go take a look. Over the map.
We could, you know, Christmas money.
Okay, I'll play. I'd like that.
That's sports for the half hour.
A job that suits me, owning a baseball club. Coming up, voices from the Campaign Brown.
And I'm Lisa McRee in the news. This is World News Now. Generic news program.
Okay, you could be, but you're not. This is World News Now.
In what?
In that, Senator, that's your morning papers or something for this
It's Friday, thank goodness. This is World News Now. The Caravan Club International, he invented the Airstream, and you know, anytime I travel, I get behind one of those
Look out for tornadoes. They're monster.
Normally, they would flee. But they didn't flee. I'm told that they got within like arm's distance from
a couple of
hours.
That's right.
We did a lot of videotaping though, and I'm told that one of the better moments there in the forest is when you ran into a group of, is it wild chimps? Is that what I would say? All right, thank you, Arthur. 47 after, on the trail of a world removed from mankind.
Kemper adjustable rate.
All right, just a few good ideas. You got to really shop around these days. Tyler, thank you.
Thank you. Good.
And we'll be back in just a moment. Tons of different companies that offer these. You've got a list of a few that have shown good track records.
That's right. Over the past year, the total return, that is how much has your money grown, let's look at the three categories.
And today.
Plus the weekend forecast and why things are looking a bit different.
And Lori's Rock Videos next.
Plus the weekend forecast and why things are looking a bit different.
And Lori's Rock Videos next.
And so are the venues.
In fact, we'll be taking you back out to swimming in just a few minutes. 16-year-old Anita Nall, the Maryland high schooler, will be competing in the 100-meter breaststroke, and that should be quite a race, Dick, because in the 200-meter breast, she was really out in front. She seemed to fade in the last 25 meters or so she should, we hope, do well in that event.
She'll be motivated, and I'm looking forward to your visit with Mirsada Buric, the young woman from Bosnia. Unbelievable. I mean, training for the Olympics under sniper fire.
And even when they tried to leave the country, Anita Nall, let's see if she can pull it off in the 100-meter breaststroke after getting a disappointing bronze a few days ago. We'll be back with much more from Barcelona, Spain, after the station break.
Do you know Jan?
After the station break.
You noticed it, I did too. He was almost crying, very emotional.
Very emotional. Well, people don't realize it's a huge deal for the U.S. team to get a medal in the team competition because they've never medaled in an Olympics when the Soviets, or in this case the former Soviets, have been involved.
And you had to read between the lines with Couric what he was upset with, and maybe the reason why he's retiring, he can't stand the high-level politics. He himself has been involved in them, and he criticized the U.S. Leaders in not being more proud of the American bronze last night.
But we should point out that Bela Couric, as you've said, is indeed very controversial. Some people see him as a very ruthless coach who's too tough on the kids, and he's quite political himself, isn't he, Dick?
But you know what he is? A winner. Everywhere he's been, he is a winner.
I just love watching him in action because he's so expressive.
Oh, really?
That's right. As if you didn't know.
You're like that.
We've got much, much more to come from the games of the 25th Olympiad in Barcelona, Spain. But first, these messages.
Panel of pundits and politicians will try to help us understand what's happened during this wild week.
We have had a very colorful, I might even say feisty group with us all week long. Susan Estridge, Babe Buchanan, Chris Matthews, and Bill Bennett. They're going to be with us in our 8 o'clock half hour to dissect yesterday the Clinton speech and the Ross Perot withdrawal. And good morning, America, and this is the morning after the day before. I'm Charles Gibson. It is Friday, July 17th.
Yes, and I'm Joan Lunden, and what a week it's after, and Spencer has stormy weather.
First he has to find his voice. Then he'll have some weather. Yes, we do have some very stormy weather in the nation's midsection, but it's bringing in some much nicer weather behind it, so I'll show you what's going on.
We'll buy that.
We'll start with the set.
Yeah, and actually a black cat walked in front of my path a few days ago, so I'm kind of waiting for something bad to happen. Mike Berriman, the swimmer who won the gold medal in the 200-meter breaststroke.
My pet.
Right, Dick. And we'll be back with more from Barcelona, Spain.
3 times, not twice.
Right after this.
Kids, I mean, do a lot of them go into relapse?
Relapse is often a harder.
For kids, I mean, do a lot of them go into relapse?
But foods that are nonetheless rich in vitamin A, that apparently what it does is it helps create the antioxidants, vitamin A does, that can prevent those so-called free radicals, which are like spare elements of oxygen
go out there.
that destroy, which are implicated not only in
of course, to increase the risk of cataract, may actually negate the benefits
of eating noodles. It was published in the British Medical Journal, a very prestigious journal. It was a survey of women, I believe 50,000 of them, who were at least 45 years old. So we're talking about people who had gone into middle age, not people who had, say, because of genetic reasons, come down with cataracts at a very early age.
Spencer.
What's that? Thanks, Mort. Well, I can tell you what's it on the map. Stormy weather.
And I can tell you, where's it?
Oh, good. Then go do it.
Well,
probably a lot of people out there who are having, problems dealing with the problems in their lives, and yet realize that there was another solution that could normalize the relationship. Now, how might a more orthodox therapist have approached that couple? And then say, this is what you can do to accept a reality and then go on with the normal life?
I was. I gave them a new perspective by their individual histories. I discovered that the man had been abandoned as an infant.
It is a very new approach in the mental health community. You write about several different cases. In the mental health community. You write about several different cases. You control his number of hours in front of Sean. How's Sean up for?
Yes.
You control his number of hours in front of the...
And when does the orientation begin, or when do the students start arriving on campus, I should say?
They move in 9 o'clock in the morning on August 29th, and classes start on September 1st.
Coming up fast, isn't it?
Too fast.
Too fast. That's what they're saying, too, probably.
Sure.
Well, good luck to both of you. Hope you both have a successful year, and all the young students that you're going to be welcoming to St. Norbert College this year. And we'll be right back after this break. Towards the end of the month?
I think so.
Oh, yeah. They don't even have money to buy a bottle of shampoo anymore.
That's right. When they start wearing the same clothes over and over, you usually realize it.
Yeah, doing their own laundry, that's
But the
another
nice thing,
issue.
at St. Norbert balance.
It is a lot different than high school, isn't it? Because it's not only the fact that you're living away from home, but your classes are structured a lot more differently. You have free time at different times during the day. There's not always somebody looking over your shoulder. Are most kids ready, maturity-wise, to handle this? Imitation is the best form of flattery. You're great. Next week, coverage of the Republican National Convention. Have a good Joel. Thanks. Mike?
We're forwards right now, 20 minutes.
Double bill. Hi, Joel.
Good morning, Joan.
Joel Siegel's here now with a double bill. Hi, Joel.
Good morning, Joan. Brian De Palma's been making...
Interesting.
And so I didn't allow myself to think about it.
You won for Best Female Vocalist for Country, but particularly the new album, everybody will hear one of the songs coming up. It's not just country, and I know that you don't like to be pigeonholed.
Good morning, I'm Scott Simon, along with Jackie Nesbral, and in just a few minutes we're going to talk to the man who is producing that convention in Houston.
Also in this hour...
Pressure of the group that they're in, the peer pressure of the police department they work for.
And we are back, and earlier I had mentioned that I was going to say something about Scott Simon, and all it is that he has a beautiful cat named Leonore de Simone,
Well,
which he
you.
loves very much.
Thank you, Jackie. That was far better than I had a right to expect.
I know. In this half hour, we'll talk about police corruption with a former cop who went bad and then went... Joe Whitty, how's the weather? Do we have as much sunshine as yesterday?
Yes, a lot of sunshine across
Good
the
news.
country. And let me add this, that Andrew was about as powerful, if not just a little stronger, than Hugo, which hit Charleston 3 years ago. And Hugo, 3 years ago, just went a little north of Charleston, so the main brunt of those 140-mile-an-hour winds...
Day of summer.
Gosh, I have to check. We know the last weekend is coming. I believe it's the 21st, or the 20th, one or the other of September. Anyway, let's take a look right now. Ooh.
In just a few moments, we'll talk with the Secretary of Health and Human Services about the public health situation developing.
More than 6,000 deaths have been attributed to the clashes between the two groups during the past 2 years. And that's news. Here's Al Roker with the weather.